Hi guys, my name's Jordan. Thank you very much for coming along to our demonstration today. We're just going to be showing you our fantastic EnvisionOne and our brand new product Flexera. So our print's going to take around 32 minutes today. Guys, if you do have any questions as we kind of go about today, just put them in the chat and either I'll try and answer them as we go, or one of my assistants will answer as we go as well. Okay, so guys, this is our EnvisionOne printer. Okay, it is a CDLM printer, and it is pretty much the most revolutionary thing currently on the market. We do have new printers coming out in the next couple of years, but this is currently the most up-to-date one. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using Flexera Smile today to print some, just some teeth and some crowns. So safety first, as always, just covering the lid here. And then you'll be able to see this stain, which we'll talk about a wee bit later on. All I have to do is press the play button. And it's loading. And then that should be us ready to go. So we'll be able to see the build platform going down. It's just counting down right now. So that's at 5 seconds. And as soon as that build platform comes down, guys, we'll get started with the rest of our demonstration today. Okay. So today, guys, we're going to go over everything about the EnvisionOne. We're going to go over about everything we can about Flexera. We'll get some videos for you to watch as well as talking about the CAD software that comes with EnvisionOne as well. So here we go. As you can see, that's the build platform going down there. So guys, again, thank you for coming today. This video is going to stay on through the entire presentation. So you're going to be able to click back and forth and make sure check up on like how things are going. And as I said, you can time it yourselves. We have 32 minutes to wait until we have a nice set of fresh teeth printed. So, guys, first I'm going to start with Flexera. So you've probably been hearing about this over the last couple of, well, maybe years now. This is Flexera Smile and this is the Flexera Base. The most revolutionary thing to kind of come out for dentures in the last 5 or 6 years, which makes these extremely prominent, guys, is the fact that not only are they brand new, but they're a really high quality material. And essentially the way they have been developed is to be flexible, but as strong as humanly possible. So essentially what happens is the way the design works is the molecules come into a helix design while it's curing, and this essentially allows it to be nice and flexible at the exact same time as being rigid. So we're going to first show you a wee video of Flexera here, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit more. So can you pull that up for me?
Hi, my name is Mike Jafar, President and CEO of Desktop Health. We're a technology company that's combining our 3D printing capabilities with our biofabrication know-how to advance personalization in healthcare and at scale. Today, we're unveiling a new product that's a near permanent solution for the dental industry. It's called Flexera. This new solution is a game changer. It provides strength, aesthetics, and made to fit, all 3D printed at speed. We can provide the flexibility of plastic and the strength of ceramic. We're excited about this new base of chemistry that Flexera will bring to the marketplace. It'll give doctors flexibility, it'll give patients personalization, and a smile that they've all been waiting for.
Perfect. Yeah, so that was just our little demonstration video on Flexera, guys. Just gives a wee bit more information about it. So it's currently FDA approved and also been approved in the EU. It's just waiting on its CA certification, which should be coming in the next couple of months. And that's essentially just due to Brexit. But it will be approved in the next couple of months and ready for use. This is a premium product, guys. This is what you would be using in your kind of private patients and being able to kind of charge a premium. As you just kind of seen there, it's a high quality product that comes in 6 different shades for the teeth and 6 different shades for the gums as well. And this allows you to kind of choose what kind of product you want to offer, what kind of style you want to offer, and what kind of suits your patients best, which is ideal in the kind of world we live in. We want everything to kind of be customized, which is the main thing kind of in today's market. So we actually printed some gums for you earlier on. So we're just going to show you another quick 30-second video of just that happening. and then we'll be able to show you the gums at this current time. So that will be good to go. So that was our gums that we printed earlier on today, guys, okay? And this is them right here. So I'll just get up as close as I can. This came out our printer just actually 35 minutes ago. And we're happy to provide samples to anyone who would want them. All we need is your address and we can send them through so you can touch and feel them yourselves. As you can kind of see with other models of teeth we printed on earlier on, this is your full denture and Flexira Smile. A quality product that I'm sure everyone would happily give to their clients. So, guys, moving on from here, we're just going to kind of talk about the software that comes with the EnvisionOne and exactly how that software works. Obviously, most of you will be aware that in order to use 3D printers, you need something like ExoCAD or 3Shape. We partner with ExoCAD and are more than happy to kind of talk about that in detail. Essentially with ExoCAD, it's a design software that allows you to do many different things, from dentures to implants to surgical guides, you name it, and it can kind of achieve it. On ExoCAD or 3Shape, you would design the product that you wanted, make sure it fit both your patient, your style, and what you wanted to do. And then from there, you would actually just download it into the software we can show you here today. So I'm just going to move this slightly. Oh, and not try and break anything. Just so you can see here, guys. So this is our CAD software here. You should be able to just kind of see if I can get that a bit lower. So from this is where you would import your job, okay? Now, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, it tells you the printer that you're using, which is the EnvisionOne, obviously. The resin that you're using as well, which is Flexira Smile, the quality and how many microns that you want to print in. Now, guys, we obviously will speak to people every single day, and they'll be like, what does 100 microns mean? It's essentially just the level of detail that you'll have like in each micron, okay? Now, you can actually print out down to 40 microns in the EnvisionOne. So it completely depends on what you're printing and who you're printing for, depending on that quality. The higher the microns, the quicker the print. The lower microns, the higher the quality. So you can see here just our teeth that we're printing today. And as you can see, it says front, back, left, right, just so you can see exactly where it is on the build platform. Now, this is where you can do things like add supports, which you'll be able to show you just now. Okay. And as you can see, that's just added support straight away without anything having else to be done. You can take away your supports. You can copy the product. Simple copy and paste. And you can also move it around on the kind of tray. And this is where you can try and be creative to fit as much as you possibly can on the tray. With the EnvisionOne, you're looking up to kind of get 10 dentures if you're going to set them upright. If you're looking to kind of have them flat, which would print quicker, of course, you're looking around 5 or 6, and that's something we can talk about a bit later on. But that's how simple it is to use our CAD software. So as you can see, Yoons fit 6 sets of teeth on rather easily. There's plenty more space in there. Probably could maybe get some more on if he really, really wanted to, but that's a really easy print job, ready to go, and all he has to do is press print, and that would send it through to the printer like that. Good to go. So guys, just let me put these back to where these were so we can see everything. Oh, I'll make a mess. Okay, so guys, now we're just going to go through the printer itself, why it's so special, and why it's something that's kind of changing digital dentistry all across the world. So this is what's called CDLM technology, which means it's continuous light digital manufacturing. Okay. Essentially, what that means is this is what we have down here is essentially a projector that projects light through a glass and then kind of like plasticky filament in order to beam light into what we call the tray, where all the resin is, and this essentially prints, it cures the resin onto the build platform for it to rise up. Now, what's special about CDLM, okay, is CDLM uses an air oxygenator to blast air through the resin to give a slight separation in order for the light to cure them. Now, what this does, okay, is this gives you the highest possible accuracy you can get because you don't have any continuous build forces going on. Essentially, just the air splits, you've got that gap, the light cures, and then the build platform moves up slowly. And this is why you'll be able to slowly see the platform just slowly rising up as we continue our conversation. And that's essentially CDLM technology. Projector at the bottom, tray separated by glass and a filament, and then our build platform here that slowly rises up throughout the resin, creating your products. And if I can just kind of direct your attention to this screen down here, guys, okay? The screen down here is one of the most fascinating things about 3D printers because this is where all your information comes from. As you can see, there's a picture that actually shows the product that we're printing today, which gives you really easy access. You know, if you ever click something, you know straight away that you're not printing the right thing because you can see it in front of you. And then it gives you all the different details. So up the top here, it says status, and that says printing because obviously we're going on to print. It then says material, and obviously we're using the brand new Flexira Smile, which is fantastic. Next we have the layer. So the layer thickness, as I said, was 100 microns earlier on. So that's kind of what we're printing in. 100 microns isn't the highest quality, but it is something that's fantastic for models to kind of give a good representation of the printer. The average speed it gives you as well. The time it's going to take to print. So we're about 27 minutes now in terms of the time it's going to take to print. And then just the calibration, which is manual. And it also shows us a little percentage bar down here in terms of how much we've printed so far. So far we're at 17.7% printed. So yeah, that's the screen. This is our printer here. And then from that, guys, one of the most fantastic things about 3D printing is because people, what they really care about is the cost. Everybody says, right, so how much does it cost me? Well, the printer actually works that out for you, essentially. Because essentially what we have is these little cards. So every bottle comes with a card. This one's for Flexira base. And in the machine, there's a little card reader that you just set it on top. And this registers as a full bottle. And every single print that you use, it actually shows exactly how much resin you've used per print. So if you've got 100%, you use a print and it shows you then that you've still got 99% in the bottle, then you can say, well, a bottle's cost me £300, 1% down, so the entire print's cost me £3. Okay, and that's kind of the easiest way you can work out exactly how much it's costing you. And then that's kind of where it gives the power back to you guys in terms of if that's something that, you know, if because it's might be a slightly cheaper for you and it might be slightly faster, you maybe did want to look at your pricing or keep your price in the same way, which helps your margins, or you've got a higher quality product in a faster way, so you know you can actually put your prices up because you've actually got more demand for that. So it's up to you and gives the power to you. And then from there, okay, a really, really key important thing, as I've just kind of mentioned, is you fill the tray every single time to the top with resin. But that doesn't mean you're using all the resin that you put in the tray. One of the most fantastic things with DLP and TDLM is it only uses the resin that is cured from the product. So if these teeth come out, all that's going to be used is the resin used to make these teeth, okay? And this allows you to have as minimal waste as possible. And today's world, it's something that's very important to many, many people. It's very economical and it's also very environmentally friendly. From there, all you need to do is take the tray off of the printer and just put the resin back into the bottle. It's really as simple as that. yeah, it's really simple and as straightforward as that. So as you can kind of see here, we're about now 26% of the way done. So that's about a quarter of the way through, just from the time you've spent here talking to me. So next thing we're going to kind of move on to, guys, is the build platform itself. So if I just move these over here, we've got two lovely, very high-tech diagrams to show you here. Now, this is the build platform for the EnvisionOne, and this is the build platform for the D4K that we're going to move on to have a chat about in a minute as well. Now, the reason we're kind of showing you this, guys, is what we genuinely feel happens all the time when people are talking about 3D printing or brand new technology. We like to use terminology, and we like to say, oh, it's this many microns, or it's this many millimeters by this many millimeters. And sometimes that's really, really hard to picture. Where we want to show you exactly what can and can't be done. So here we've just got like 3 little denture models. This one's got some teeth in it. And as you can kind of see on the EnvisionOne, it's really easy for me to kind of maneuver these 3 on quickly as possible, and then you would be able to get another 3 on that kind of side there. Now what this means, guys, is you can essentially print 6 dentures in around the 40 to 50 minute range, which maybe someone can put in the chat. I'm yet to kind of meet someone that can put together 6 dentures by themselves in kind of 45 minutes. But that is extremely possible with this printer. Now, that's something that, that's even saying that, you needed these done quickly, because maybe you don't. Maybe this is something like an overnight job, or this is something that, you want to put on and go to an event, come back, whatever it is. Well, for dentures, one of the most amazing things is you can actually stand them up. Now, as you can kind of see here, just with me holding them really quickly, how many you can actually fit in standing up. You're looking at maybe 10, 12, maybe even slightly more than that, depending on the size of the printer. The reason this is so important to so many people is because if you get an order on Monday of 15, 16, 17 dentures, it's something that you can really easily put in your printer, design them, send them through to your CAD software, press play, and then you've got 3-4 hours to go and do whatever else you want while that job's getting taken care of. And of course, the EnvisionOne and Envision Tech products don't just print dentures. You can print teeth, as you'll see that we're printing here today. You can print crowns, surgical guides, models, anything you guys kind of need. And this is the entire space you have to work with, which can do up to kind of 5 kind of models at a time. Surgical guides, you're looking at above 6. In terms of crowns, it's really limitless, 10, 15, 20. And that's all done in one single print. Now, some of you might be wondering what the next one across here is and why it's a bit smaller. Well, we are showing you the EnvisionOne today, but we also have another product out called the D4K. Now, the D4K is what's called DLP technology. And essentially what that is that's kind of the predecessor to the EnvisionOne. And essentially all that means is digital light processing. So it works the exact same way. It's got a projector at the bottom that essentially just cures the resin through a glass chamber while it's printing. The only difference is there isn't any oxygen used in the D4K. Now, the reason I'm kind of showing you this is the D4K is a little bit smaller, but as you can kind of see on the D4K, which we're going to show you a little later on, you can still quite easily fit at least 3 dentures at a time, maybe 4 at a push if you really, really tried and they were slightly smaller. Now, one of the key things about the D4K is the D4K actually has a 4K light projector and can actually print below 50 microns across the X and Y, which means it's probably the highest quality printer, desktop printer on the market at this time. So I'll just come back there. I'm showing you that. Oh, just to kind of, yeah. Oh, sorry guys, having technical problems here. There we go. Perfect. So guys, as I said, remember, if you do have any questions at any point, just feel free to put them in the chat. That's something we're quite happy to answer. But before we move on, I'm just going to have Ewan kind of show us a video of the D4K just to understand what we've been talking about over the last couple of minutes and why it's such a good piece of kit. So Ewan, can you see that up for me, please? thing.
From the original innovators of DLP 3D printing comes the D4K Pro, a professional desktop DLP 3D printer featuring the highest resolution available anywhere. Designed for use in small labs and chairside offices, the D4K Pro is compatible with over a dozen different materials available for dental indications, from models to full dentures, and everything in between. With a 30% larger build volume than other desktop printers in its category, and the highest resolution 4K projector available for any desktop 3D printer, the D4K Pro enables practitioners to deliver permanent chairside restorations to clients in a single visit, with the precision and fine detail that Envision Tech is known for. The D4K Pro's custom UV LED power source delivers twice the energy density compared to most other desktop 3D printers. Another revolutionary innovation from the leader in dental 3D printing. The D4K Pro from Envision Tech, the original innovators of DLP 3D printing.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. So that was one of our other products, the D4K. So essentially what I would be saying to you here today, guys, is the D4K and the EnvisionOne are extremely similar in terms of quality. The main difference is the size. It's what you guys need. If you're a high production lab that's doing hundreds of dentures a week, or even tens of dentures a week, it's probably more ideal for you to have something like the EnvisionOne. However, if you're maybe a smaller lab or a dentist, it might be much more ideal for you to have the D4K, which is a very high quality product that's a bit smaller, but the exact same sense can do really high quality smaller things. So here, okay, and this is just a model you're doing kind of like eDentStone or eModel Lite, and then the eGuard here. We have a removable die model, which kind of tucks in here. And this is fantastic for things like crowns and that sort of stuff that you need to do, or veneers as well. Okay. Here's another denture model, and as I said earlier on, if you're going to want to print horizontal up, this is how your guards, your braces would kind of come into it. And this is, in terms of doing high quality, in terms of doing high production, this is exactly what I would be doing. But if you wanted more faster, then you would kind of go down here. And that's kind of the main goal. And then we come back onto kind of like our partials. So this is using something like our, using something like a guide. So we are more flexible and can cover one thing. Now, one of the most amazing things about the EnvisionOne guides as well, or 3D printing in general, is the fact that you can build multiple things at the same time. So if you were doing a model, you can actually build the base, a model of the denture, and then the teeth at the same time as well. Now, obviously, a denture would be used and be a different resin to go into the body, but this gives you a good opportunity to do a model, make sure everything's kind of sorted, and make sure you see it the way it is. So then reprint it in your Flexira, and then you are good to go. We have another couple of products I can show you here as well that are really key. The first one is the E-tray. Now, this actually has a bit of a special place in my heart, to be honest. And the reason is because when I went and got braces, I have a very awkward shaped mouth, which essentially meant I had to get like 15 impressions done. This meant I had, if someone had just took a scan of my mouth and done an impression, then that would have meant I would have had one impression done because it would have fitted my mouth exactly. Another thing that we can do, as I've kind of said, is surgical guides. As you probably know, guys, these currently, we currently are the worst country in the world for dental liability, okay? And essentially the reason for that, okay, is essentially because we've got to the point that people expect the highest quality of care, and it means that dentists and labs have to protect themselves. So every single time you are going to do an implant, if you haven't done it before, obviously, then you can just print yourself off a surgical guide after a scan, and you're kind of limiting that liability. But with that as well, actually, if you're using something like exocad and a medical scanner, you actually have the paperwork all the way through to kind of prove that you've done the right things, which means a simple print kind of protects you from legal liability. Okay, and then there's the wee model that just clicks on that as well. Nice and simple. Okay, and then moving on is to our wax products. Now, these are fantastic if you do things like crowns or veneers or anything that you need to kind of burn out or shape after it's printed. Obviously, this has been 100% cured, but this is a kind of wax product. It's nice and flexible. And essentially what this would allow you to do is if you want to do a kind of burn out kind of crowns or veneers, you can print this off and that'll be ready and good to go. And that's something that tends to be more for people that need to shape things and change things afterwards in order to kind of, make the best quality product that they can for their people. Okay, so guys, we're currently got 9 minutes left to go, just back onto our print. So I'm just going to take us back up, go back to the EnvisionOne, which is the main kind of focus for today, talk a wee bit more through it, and then we'll take our prints off and get ready to kind of show you guys. So there we go. And again, guys, if anyone's got any questions, just feel free to put them in the chat. Happy to answer anything as we kind of go. In terms of moving on to the process as a whole, so after you've kind of printed off your dentures, guides, crowns, whatever you're going to be using, essentially what happens next is you move on to your wash and your cure phase. Okay, so these would rise out the resin, and they're actually 95% cured at that time. Okay, from there you would take them out, which we'll show you a wee bit later on. And then what you would do is you would put them into a wash unit. Each resin has a different wash time. So some of them have, 15, 20 minutes. Some of them have a lot less time. After the kind of wash and got all that additional residue off, you then move on to the cure. Now, this is kind of where you get that extra 5% cure done. And now, this is kind of, it's actually a huge benefit to people because if you're using a wax product that needs kind of that extra shaping, then that 5% extra cure is what kind of hardens that back up. As well as if you need to change anything, or if there's anything that you're kind of not happy with in a print, it's much better to kind of come out that 95% that you can kind of see it, make any changes if possible, and then go into that cure for that extra 5%. And that's kind of the whole process done. So you would take a scan, or you would take an STL file. You would move into your software, such as exocad or 3Shape, make the design and make any changes you wanted to. You would then move it into the CAD software that comes with the EnvisionOne. And then from there, on the EnvisionOne, you would just sit and watch that print take place and happen. And then from there, you would go into your wash unit, your cure unit, and then that would be a product that would be finished and ready to go into a patient's mouth. For whatever it was, or whether it was a denture, a splint, any of these sort of things, you've got that ready. And a main thing that I like to kind of talk about with a lot of my clients is how much time that's actually saving. I mean, I know I've droned on for 25 minutes, so you probably think, oh, this is taking forever. But in reality, if this was going to put together a set of teeth for crowns or dentures, you would be looking at someone actually having to sit and put that together for the hour, wait for the plaster to harden, break up the plaster from the product, and then that's hoping that there isn't a mistake, during that process, after that process, or even as you're taking it out of the plaster, as I'm sure we've all done, just to get that product, then you're finishing, polishing, and you're cleaning. Whether with this, you're sitting, you've got time to do other things. You could be finishing, polishing other products. You could be going out and getting more business, or be sitting, having a Coke, having a bit of a break. It really is completely up to you. And then from there, you've kind of got your 12, your 10, whatever kind of products you want to come out of there. So as you can see at this moment in time, that's us at 80% ready. And it actually shows that we currently have 5 minutes left to see the product come out. This is where you need to start kind of getting ready with your tools and that sort of stuff to understand what you're doing next. So Ewan, just in the background, is just putting on his rubber gloves. He knows that as soon as the build form starts to get up, then he needs to start the preparation to take it off. Now, as we're going to show you in a second, the taking off is actually much simpler than a lot of people think. And because the resin is 95% cured, the material is a lot tougher than a lot of people think. When we bring people in for demonstrations, they get, one thing we like to do is allow people to take it off. But people get a bit angsty because they're scared they're going to break the product. But that's not something that happens very often, if not at all. And even more fantastic about that is even if it did break, the first thing you get to do is press the play button and get that reprinting done as well. And that's only if you've used so much force you've skipped it across the rim. So you've probably been seeing from the videos we've been going, guys, the build platform is just getting higher and higher and higher as the videos went on. As you'll probably have seen for the time lapse we used earlier on as well, that was getting higher as the time lapse thing. And this is because essentially what happens is the product needs more space for the light to cure. So you'll notice in the difference between the DLP, that goes up and down in order for the light to cure it. So it goes up to give the space, then down for the light to cure, back into the resin, then up again. Where CDLM, that doesn't go up and down because it has that thin layer of air. It essentially just has to move slowly up as it comes. And that kind of is where earlier on when I mentioned the idea of the kind of build forces, that's what kind of stops as much of the accuracy or stops as much of the quality. That doesn't happen with CDLM. Because you've got that thin layer of air, you know what you've put on that CAD software, that's what's going to print. Because there's nothing really to affect it other than the light, the resin, and the build platform. Essentially, as much as CDLM is more complicated, it's actually making it an easier process and less complicated process in order to have a more chance of having a higher, better, more quality finish. So what's that? How's that? So that's us at 3 minutes there, guys. 3 minutes to kind of go. So a couple of wee things to talk about in the printers. So obviously there is over 1,000 resins that come in Envision Tech. We have resins, as I mentioned, for dentures, crowns. We have resins for surgical guides. We have resins for a whole bunch of different things. So whatever you guys kind of need, we can kind of provide. Also, if you've got a resin, if you use 3D printing and you've got a resin you've used for a long time, it's something you order in quite high volume, just let us know. We're happy to kind of test it on our printers, make sure that it works in our printers, and if it does, then we're quite happy to kind of provide that for you, make sure we kind of get a key for that. The only reason we do it this way is just so that there's not, you don't go buy some cheap resin from somewhere, use it, it doesn't work, the printer breaks, and then you come back and say, oh, my printer's broke. The reason that's happened that way is just because of the kind of cheaper resin. So we make sure we do the due diligence for you. We can give you back a product that you're happy with. So there's the resin, and then we come on to the trays. Now, these trays are actually disposable trays, and another great thing that we kind of like to talk about is our trays actually do over 250 prints if they're looked after. So it's 250 times that you get to print, a full tray of products before it needs replaced. And the EnvisionOne actually comes with 2 trays as standard, so you've actually got over 500 prints. And again, as long as they're looked after, they can normally do a lot more than that. After your kind of tray is, it's got to that point that it's kind of worn out a bit. For the disposable trays, all you need to do is throw them out and order another one. For the metal trays that we also provide, you can actually send them back to us. We get them refilamented and send them back to you. So it's completely up to you guys what you kind of want to do. And that's the exact same for the D4K as well. So there's the disposable trays and there is the metal trays that you can get as well. One thing we get asked a lot is about the tray and if it has a lid. So we've actually developed a lid for Envision Tech that essentially allows you to cover the resin in there, and it means you can come in, start your day, set up all your resins, make sure you're happy with what you're doing, put that lid back on, and then essentially from there you can swap out your resin as you kind of go. So you could have 3 resins for dentures, you could have 3 resins for crowns, and you can have 3 resins for whatever you kind of need in your setup. So here's our kind of lids that we've made, guys. And I would never recommend keeping the resins, in the tray for more than 24 hours. I would technically say a working day max. But what this does allow you to do is come in, set up everything you need to do, put a tray in, take the tray off, put in another pin, and do that as quick as possible without you having to put it back into the thing. So that's us, guys. As you can see, the build platform's just coming up now. So as you can see, it's just going to rise up now with the kind of products at the bottom. Now, what Ewan's doing is he's just kind of scraping any residual residue back into the tray. Okay. Now, this is for a couple of reasons. One, it's less cleanup if he does it now. But 2, obviously, more resin is going back in the tray, which means it's more economical for us and you as well. And you'll just start to get a wee bit of a glimpse of the product coming up on the tray. Now, we've only printed 1 set of teeth today, but you can obviously print as many as you want. There we go. Now, another thing to mention, guys, that I haven't before, is this is actually the XL version. So the dental version is a little bit smaller, and it's only because, I don't think there's anyone in the world that their mouth's this big. So essentially the XL model is just to help show it's the best for demonstrating. So there you go, Ewan's just pulled off the product. That's the build platform there, and the teeth are just on it. So now all he has to do is break those supports after he's pulled off some extra residue. So I can just kind of put this down here. So all he has to do now is just use this little pry tool, pull them off. Okay, just so you're aware, guys, they are separate. So that's why it's happened like that. And then from there, that's them sorted. So this is now a product that you have. It's 95% cured. They can be placed into dentures. As I said, the teeth are all kind of separately done, just with little supports. And that's you kind of good to go. Sorted and ready. Perfect. So guys, I'm just going to ask, that's our kind of demonstration for today. We've kind of went through our different resins. We've went through the EnvisionOne, we've went through the D4K, and we've also actually managed to show you a pin. As I said, one thing we're more than happy to do, if anyone would like a sample sent to them, all they need to do is send an email to myself. I'm Jordan. You all should have my email address, and we'll happily send you a sample through. If anyone would like an in-live demo, that's something we can set up for you as well. Just let me know, and we can arrange the details for that. Has anyone got a current question at this moment in time? Can you check for any questions? No worries. Well, guys, thank you very much for your time. I hope this has been informative for you. I hope it's gave you a wee bit more insight into what we do at Envision Tech and Abergower. And I really look forward to speaking to you in the future. Thank you very much, and thank you.